We got some crazy strong wins today that could affect some MLB games. Let's talk some MLB no runs first inning. Let's go. Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Craig Ben, aka Cash Cake, back with another MLB no runs first inning video, and we're going to talk about a few games that we have some pretty high wins blowing out, and I think we could take the overs on both of them and take a chance on them. Some pretty high run totals, some crazy wins. We'll talk about both of those games. Again, I got total of 5 of them for you. Other than that, I don't really love the card. A lot of them go either way, but again, I'll talk about all 5 of them. If you want to play them, if you want to fade them, just throw my analysis out there, and let's jump right into it. Before that, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if any of this information is valuable in your research process, and let's just dive into it. TGIF. All right, we have the Prizepicks desktop up here. As you can tell, we got MLB first innings allowed, no runs first inning. We're going to talk about the first two we're going to talk about are actually overs. The first one is an early game here. We got Arizona Diamondbacks at the Chicago Cubs. Massive. We're going to have weather into the 80s here and winds blowing out, 25 mile an hour out to left center here. So the implied run totals on these are insane as well. Arizona's a little over 5 and Chicago's almost 6. So I'll take my chances on the over here with the weather pushing. Castellanos on the mound for Arizona is 4-2 with his no runs first inning record, and Kyle Hendricks is 6-2. So they both have given up a little bit of runs. The juice is massive on the over here, as well as around minus 165. So people are hitting the over on this, which I understand with this. It takes one swing of the bat, get it up in that jet stream with the pretty hot temperatures up in Chicago and the winds blowing out that high. You should be able to get it out. So I do like that. And Chicago's been pretty decent. They've been putting up some runs in the first inning here. In 6 of the last 10 games, they've put up runs. Arizona, not quite as much here. Only put up runs in 2 of the last 10 games. But again, once you take the weather into consideration, and looking at just the pitchers a little bit, where the juice is lying, I'll take a shot at taking the over in this game with those winds blowing out of Wrigley. Should be fun. Wish I was up there at that game. Next one we're going to talk about, again, another weather game that I think we can, take advantage of. And that's Detroit at Cleveland here. The juice is on the over around minus 130. They got winds blowing out as well. Not quite as much as Wrigley, but still 15, 20 miles an hour. I think we can take a shot on this. If we look at both offenses, not great. Cleveland's a little bit better than Detroit. Detroit's kind of stunk all year at putting up runs in the first inning. That's the only reason I would, worry about this one a little bit. I love the Chicago one way better, but both these teams with the wind blowing out, I'll take a chance at it. Again, the juice is on the over, and I'm always going to look at the juice here, considering what we get here at Prizepicks. You don't have to worry about laying that juice at all. So just looking at it, I'm going to lean the over on the Detroit-Cleveland game. A lot of it just has to do with those winds blowing out. If we want to kind of look at the implied team totals on them as well, let me pull that game up real quick and kind of just check the implied team totals for that Cleveland game. It looks like they're both about 4.2, yeah. So about an 8.5 team game total on that, and each team has a little bit over 4 implied run total. So not massive, but I'll still take a chance on the over. Maybe someone can lift one out with those winds blowing out. So we'll go over on that one. The next one we're going to look at, the next 3 we'll look at are going to be unders. Again, there's not a ton that just absolutely stick out here. There's some juice on the under at that Atlanta Miami game. I don't want to touch it though. We're going to get Charlie Morton on the bump, but he's been 4-3 in not giving up a run the first inning, so not very good. And then Trevor Rogers on the other side, he's been 3-4. So both of them have given up a lot of runs. The juice is on the under at minus 140. If you want to take a shot, I don't think I'd play it on Prizepicks, but if you want to take a shot on the over with how bad those pitchers have been in the runs first inning, you can get it plus money around plus 115. So I would take a shot more of that than looking at the under over here at Prizepicks. So that's one that I saw that I wanted to talk a little bit about. But the next one we'll look about here is the Blue Jays and the Reds. I'm going to go the under here. Castillo on the mound for the Reds, 2-0, hasn't given up a run the first inning this year. And then Hyun-Jin Ryu is 2-1, minus 120 on the under for the juice there. So if we kind of look at what those teams have done offensive wise, Toronto's been putting up some numbers. You know, they put up runs in 6 of their last 10s in the first inning. Cincinnati, not quite as much, only 1 out of the last 10 games. But again, if you want to take the juice on the under here, I think it's a good shot. We could take a chance on it. Again, there's not any real games that are, you know, staring at you in the face. You know, I was looking, they don't even have the Colorado game up here. Apparently there's going to be snow in that game, and it's like 32 degrees. I mean, how crazy is that? But, you know, the line is, you know, not out there at all. I don't think the game's going to play, but if it did, I would definitely take the under on that if you can get it, some action on it, and maybe the game will get canceled. So if you want to take some action on that, I would definitely take the under on that. Marquez is 7-0, and Carrasco's 5-2. So if you want to take a shot on that, if you could out on the other books, that's another one that I would put out there. So if it cancels, whatever, you'll probably refund your money. But yeah, the weather's just nasty there. If we look at the next one we'll look at here, we'll look at the Brewers and the Nationals. I'm going to go under on this one as well. Fetty on the mound for Washington, 7-0, and Eric Lauer is 6-0. So both pitchers are 13-0, not giving up a run the first inning. Not a massive juice on the under here or over either way. Just straight up juice, minus 110. The offensive have been putting up some runs. Washington, 4 out of the last 10 games have put up runs in the first inning. Milwaukee, 3 of the last 10 games. So it probably has something to do with it. But looking at the pitchers, again, they've done pretty good in the first innings here. Again, there's not a whole lot of games here that are leaning one way or the other. So I would definitely play lighter on these no runs first inning today. But that's one that kind of stuck out when I'm looking at the pitchers, but not so much the offenses. The offenses have been pretty decent. So, you know, as we get closer and closer to the summer where, you know, the temperatures are starting to, you know, get up a little bit here, we might have to start leaning at some of these overs. But there's still, even that, there's not a ton to look at the overs there. But we're going to take the under on that one. And then the last one I was looking at here, Tampa Bay at Baltimore. Wells on the bump for Baltimore, 5-2 with no runs in the first inning this year. And then we got Beeks on the mound for Tampa Bay. He hasn't pitched. But the juice is on the over at minus 120. So this is the one that's like, well, I was kind of torn between them. Tampa Bay has put up runs in 3 of the last 10 in the first inning. Baltimore has not. They're kind of like Detroit. They've been really bad at putting up runs in the first inning. So if you want to take a shot at that one, you could. Again, the juice is on the over at minus 120. I'm going to lean on the under on this one. But if you wanted to take a shot on the over, I get that one as well. That one's, but again, there's not a ton out here that I'm looking at. You know, if you wanted to look at San Diego, San Francisco, we got Manet on the mound for San Diego, but he's 3-4. He's given up a run more than 4 of those 7 games he started. And that one makes me a little bit nervous, even though the juice is minus 130 on this, but didn't really like the pitching stats on that one. So again, there's nothing that's really standing out, honestly. I think if I had to take a shot at it, I love the Cubs the most here. Then I would come down and I would probably look at taking the under of the Brewers and Nationals next. Then the over of the Guardians and Tigers. And then I'd probably take the unders on Blue Jays and Reds. And then the last one is the Rays and Orioles, just because you don't know what that pitcher of Tampa Bay is going to do. So that's what we're looking at here. Again, not real great on no runs first inning here. Not a lot of leans with, you know, looking where the juice is going to go. And then again, we got pitchers are kind of all over the place. You might have one pitcher that's good on one side, but then absolute trash on the other side. So I didn't like that. Another one I guess we could look at here is Boston, the Mariners. They got Robbie Ray on the mound. He's 6-1, no runs first inning. And then we got Michael Wacha for Boston's 3-2. So that'd be another one I would lean on the under as well if you want to look at that. But again, nothing that I absolutely love on this card. So Yep, we're going to go do a basketball video after this one, so stay tuned. I will link it at the end of this video once I put it up. But again, enjoy your Friday TGIF, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Deuces.